All right, so let's go into advanced reporting. So when you first open up QuickBooks Advanced Reporting, right, again, it sits on top of QuickBooks. You can see it's a separate little tab here. All of the ones that have a little S are starter reports, as I call it. I call it standard, but starter reports. Those will come with the product. The things that we're going to be looking at today are the ones that don't have an S. These are the templated reports that we have created for our customers to be able to use. So the first one that I want to pull up here is the sales order by item with purchase requirements. And that actually is open on my other screen. So on this report, go ahead and make it a little larger here. I did zoom in on the report. I tried to make my background a little bit larger so it's easier to see, but it did not look great. So hopefully you guys can see this well. So on this report, what we're looking at is sales orders by item with purchase requirements. So I just mentioned inside of QuickBooks, you cannot link sales orders to purchase orders. However, on our report here, we have created the link from sales orders to purchase orders using the customer job field. So is it on a sales order for this particular customer job? And then if yes, do we have purchase orders for that particular job for this item? Now on this report, we're totaling by item. So this 1500 PM, this is an item from our items list. Next, we're totaling by customer job, right? So which customer jobs have open sales orders for this particular item? And then over here, we have what are the open sales orders, okay, by number. Next, we pulled in what's our quantity on hand for this item. We have -5. Then we said how many are on sales order for this particular item for this job, not for all jobs, but for this job, so 2. Then we pull in how many are on open purchase orders for this job, right? So how many, we need 2, we haven't ordered any yet of this item for this job. So how many do we need to order? 7 to bring us back up, right? This is just a calculated column. To bring us back up above, we need to order a total of 7, okay? Now we don't have a subtotal in here because we didn't need it, but we can add subtotals in here to say how many do I need to order for all jobs. That also exists inside of QuickBooks. That's why we didn't have it on this one. So on this report, what's nice about it too is if I didn't want to total by item, I instead wanted to total by customer or job to tell me what are all the things that I need to order in order to fulfill this job. Inside of advanced reporting here, I would be able to just make a switch to promote the customer name up so that the item name comes secondary. It's a second subtotal. Now I'm looking by job, what items need to be ordered in order for me to have a purchase order for all open sales orders. So when did somebody use this? We have a customer that does custom landscaping design. They get an estimate, they put it in the system, they get approval from the customer, they flip it over to a sales order. Everything is custom, right? And that drives demand for the items needed to be ordered. On average, they have 80 to 100 jobs going at any given time. That's a lot of purchasing, and it's a lot of products, right? You can imagine in landscaping. So they had to figure out before, who have I bought for? Who have I not bought for? What do I need to buy for this job? When does it need to come in? So we added some additional customization to this base report to include date ranges as well. And so they were able to use this report, say, okay, what do I need to order for my jobs that are being completed next week? What's on a purchase order already, and what still needs to be ordered? Going into another report. So this one is I know we talked about cash and accrual before, but this is a customer sales and payment percentage. This is a cash and accrual report all built into one, which is always fun. Say, please don't not work right now. I've run it enough times. So what is this report showing us? This report is showing us by customer or by job, right? How much we have invoiced the job in total, how much we have, how much in total credit memos we've done against this job, any payment discounts that they've taken advantage of, What's the payment due or that they're eligible for? What's the payment due? Right, total payment, and this is just a calculated column, this plus this plus this. And you can't do calculated columns on reports inside of QuickBooks. What payments have been made against this job? Then a calculated column to round, right, about how much payment have they're at 90%. How much was their last invoice? When was their last invoice date? How much was their last payment? When was their last payment date? So cash and accrual based on the same report. We have a lot of clients in the construction space in particular that want to know this information on a single report, and you cannot get to this information on a single report inside of QuickBooks, which is why we built this template. So you give this report, usually they'll have a filter over here for project manager, which would be a custom field at the customer level, or they use sales rep. So usually we'll do a little customization for them to add so they can filter by project manager, shoot it out to Excel and spit it over to the project manager as needed so they can know where they're at in their projects. Okay. This is another one of those ones that you can dream up and see. All right, sales orders with back orders. This report was created because we've had clients, obviously one of the things that QuickBooks has this all the time, they have people who, they say, how do I know what is truly on back order? What is on back order? I don't want to just know open sales order quantity. What is on back order, right? So we have things that are on back order in here. So we can total by item or we can total by customer. We've had people who want it totaled by customer so that they can send out to their customers on a weekly basis, hey, here is everything that is on back order. So that we would just make that flip, right, to make customer name promote it to be the total by. And then they would pop this into Excel, and they actually did it as a mail merge so they could to mass email out from the Excel spreadsheet to mass email out their customers to tell them this is what is on back order on your account currently, just to keep them informed. Okay, so it's pulling in customer, what item, what is the sales order number, what is the quantity, how many have been invoiced, meaning how many have been sent out, and we can change this instead of saying invoice, we can change this to be shipped, how many are back ordered, what's the email address tied to the customer, and then phone number as well if we needed to give them a call. Okay. All right, I'll go into one more today for you guys to see and to think about. So quantity on hand, this one we actually have two reports for. We have the quantity on hand to give the last utilization point basically by item. So on-hand inventory with last sold date. We also get this report, we have a customer report for customers as well, right? Customer report template. So a lot of people ask, I need to know when the last time, or tell me who has not bought within the last 6 months. And what was the, what did they buy before the last 6 months? So we have something that is similar to this, but in the customer realm as well. But on this one, we have item name. The reason I wanted to show this one especially is at year end, a lot of our customers will say, okay, I want to know the last point we utilized this item because I need to possibly get rid of some inventory off my books. I need to dispose of things. I need to change the value. So that's really important. So we have the item name here down the side. Of course, the description field pulling from the item itself. Then we have transactional information, pulling in the last invoice and bill date, total quantity on hand value, how many are currently on sales orders, what is the list of sales orders that they're on, so therefore how many are available, right? -5, -16, -21. Not a great example because of all these negatives in my sample files. Hopefully you don't see negatives on yours. What's on a purchase order and what's our next expected delivery date on that purchase order. So in a similar fashion, what we would see on the customer side is generally we'll have a filter for time period and the last purchase date. Show me anybody whose last purchase date was before 6/30 to 2020 so that I can reach out to these customers and figure out what's going on.